India, a land of contrasts. Known for its vibrant culture, ancient history, and rapid economic growth, but behind this image, millions of people live a life of immense struggle. Welcome to The Dark Life in India, where chaos reigns, and survival is an everyday battle. India is a country known for its vibrant culture, deep-rooted traditions, and a history that spans millennia. But beneath the cultural richness and economic growth, there exists a darker, harsher reality for millions of its citizens. Life in India, especially for the underprivileged, is marked by extreme challenges. From overcrowded cities to the struggles of rural farmers, many face daily battles for survival. Despite being one of the fastest-growing economies, the gap between the rich and poor remains wide, leading to a chaotic existence where basic needs like shelter, food, and healthcare are often unattainable. In urban areas, the contrast between wealth and poverty is stark. Skyscrapers and luxury apartments tower over vast slums where millions live in substandard conditions. These slums are overcrowded, often lacking clean water, sanitation, and electricity. Many families live in single-room shacks, vulnerable to diseases and disasters. The government provides minimal assistance, leaving slum dwellers to fend for themselves in a harsh environment. Despite the lack of infrastructure, these areas teem with life, where people work multiple jobs, trying to secure a better future for their children, but many remain trapped in a cycle of poverty. Traffic and transportation in India's cities are notoriously chaotic. With millions of vehicles on the road, the lack of proper infrastructure and regulation leads to frequent accidents and long delays. Roads are congested, and pedestrians share the space with cars, buses, and motorcycles, often at their peril. Honking horns and aggressive driving are the norms, creating a constant din and a sense of urgency. Public transportation, though affordable, is overcrowded and unreliable, further complicating daily commutes. This daily chaos leaves many exhausted, both physically and mentally, as they navigate the urban jungle. Bureaucracy and corruption compound the challenges faced by ordinary citizens. Access to basic services such as healthcare, education, and social welfare is marred by inefficiency and bribery. In many cases, people are forced to wait for hours, even days, to obtain something as simple as a birth certificate or government-issued identification. Hospitals are overcrowded, especially in public sectors, where resources are limited, and staff is overworked. Corruption often means that those who cannot afford to pay bribes face even longer delays, pushing the poorest further into hardship, with little hope for improvement. In rural India, the situation is no less grim. Farmers, who form the backbone of India's economy, are often caught in a vicious cycle of debt and poor yields. Climate change has disrupted traditional farming patterns, with floods and droughts becoming more frequent, devastating crops and livelihoods. Many farmers rely on loans to purchase seeds and fertilizers, but when crops fail, they are unable to repay their debts, leading to a surge in farmer suicides. The rural population is also grappling with inadequate access to education, healthcare, and basic infrastructure, which contributes to widespread poverty and migration to cities. Education, which many view as a path to escape poverty, remains inaccessible for millions of children, particularly in rural areas. Schools are often poorly funded, with insufficient resources like textbooks, desks, and trained teachers. For many families, sending their children to school is a luxury they cannot afford, as they rely on them to contribute to the household income through labor. As a result, dropout rates are high, and the cycle of poverty continues. While efforts have been made to improve access to education, there is still a long way to go before all children in India can receive a quality education. Gender inequality is another deep-rooted issue in India, despite advancements in women's rights. Women, particularly in rural and conservative areas, face restrictions on their education, employment, and personal freedom. Gender-based violence, including domestic abuse, sexual harassment, and rape, remains a serious problem, with many cases going unreported or unresolved. In many parts of the country, women are expected to adhere to traditional roles, and breaking free from societal expectations can be difficult. Despite these challenges, many women are fighting for their rights, leading grassroots movements to demand better legal protection and more opportunities for future generations. India's political system, while democratic, is riddled with corruption. Political leaders often make grand promises during elections, but once in power, many fail to deliver. Corruption within the government affects everything from infrastructure projects to public services. The gap between the wealthy political elite and the general population leads to widespread disillusionment. Frustration with the system often results in protests, strikes, and political unrest. Citizens, particularly the poor, feel disconnected from the decision-making process, believing that the government prioritizes corporate interests over the needs of the average person, further deepening societal divides. The healthcare system in India is under immense strain. While private hospitals offer world-class treatment for those who can afford it, the public healthcare system is overburdened and underfunded. Millions of people, especially in rural areas, lack access to basic healthcare facilities. Public hospitals are overcrowded, and patients often wait for hours or even days for treatment. Medicines and supplies are often in short supply, and there are far too few doctors and nurses to meet the needs of the population. For many, getting sick means risking financial ruin, as they cannot afford the high cost of private care. Despite all these hardships, the spirit of resilience among the Indian people is remarkable. They continue to strive for a better future, holding on to hope amidst the chaos. Communities come together in times of need, supporting one another in the face of adversity. Many grassroots organizations and NGOs work tirelessly to address issues of poverty, education, and healthcare, bringing about small but significant changes. India's struggles are vast and complex, but its people's determination to overcome them keeps the country moving forward. In a land of contradictions, hope remains the common thread. Thank you for watching. If you found this documentary insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Let's continue to shine a light on the realities faced by millions across the world.